Hello and welcome to day 12 of our drawing videos. Today we are going to be doing our third and final lesson on shading. It's going to be using one of my favorite shading techniques, which is hatching and cross-hatching. I'm excited to show you guys this one. I think it's really fun. This one and the last one as well both work really well, not just for pencils, but also if you're using a more permanent drawing utensil like a pen. Both of those work great. You just have to maybe be a little bit more careful or a little bit more meaningful with your lines because you're not going to be able to erase them. So let's get into hatching and cross-hatching. Just like the other 2 days, I'm starting with a sphere. I'm going to get pretty good at drawing these circles pretty soon. That one's not half bad. All right. So, what hatching and cross-hatching is, I guess I should start with hatching. Hatching is where you make lines, kind of like the last one, how we made dots for shading. With hatching, you make lines instead. Cross-hatching is very similar, except that you do something like this. So you have more than just the one direction of lines. You have two directions that you can go, and so you're crossing them. And so you can do it like that, where you do one set of lines and then go over the other ones. You can do something more wild like this. Just depends on the look that you're going for. Also maybe depends on what you are drawing. With this technique, it's kind of up to the artist. If you can have a whole drawing that is just hatching. You can have a drawing that is partially hatching and partially cross-hatching. I'll show you some examples of some that I have done to show you some of those examples. You can even have a drawing that is where you cross-hatch some things and you stipple some other things depending on the texture of the objects that you're drawing. It just kind of depends on what you're drawing, and I encourage you to try out all these different ways of shading and cross-reference some techniques. See what you come up with. See what you like. You never know what you're gonna end up loving. So similar to the other days, I'm gonna start out on the bottom here where it's gonna be the most shaded, and I'm going to put some lines down here, and I'm gonna cross-hatch so that they appear to be even darker. This technique is either good for some texture that an object might have, or just a stylized drawing, kind of like the last week. Okay. I wanted to get good and dark over here. And then, similar to last week, I'm going to start making some lines up here that are maybe a little bit more spread out. And then, because it's pretty dark down here, not so dark up here, I'm going to cross-hatch, or just put some more hatches in this area to kind of make it not be so sudden. It's almost like we're blending in the two areas. Maybe I'll do some more up here too. And we could carry this all the way up here. You can be as organized or unorganized as you like to in your hatches. Partially depends on the kind of texture that you're trying to convey. But also just, some people like to have very neat drawings, some people like to have sloppy drawings. I'm kind of a sloppy drawing person myself, but there's no right or wrong way to do it. And so again, you can kind of step back to see if you think that your shading is fairly uniform. I noticed that right here, I kind of have a little bit of a gap, don't I? So we can kind of fix that a little bit. But you can practice those hatches and cross hatches, and I was going to show you also some examples that I've done in my sketchbook here. While I find my pictures, what I would like you to do over the weekend is to practice any of these techniques or all of these techniques for shading. I'm kind of doing a free draw Friday sort of things or free draw weekend things where you can draw whatever you would like to. I'm not going to give you necessarily a prompt of what to draw, but draw something and use these shading techniques. And if you would like to, I would love for you to share on our Facebook page what you have been drawing so I can take a look at them. I think that would be great. But here are some drawings that I have done using this cross-hatching technique. And so you can see that there are areas where I want it to be darker, so I got my lines really close together there. I use mostly kind of a hatching sort of technique to give this wood texture, and up here too. But there are some areas in here where I do some cross-hatching, where it's kind of shades, shadows going over top of each other. What other ones do I have? Some pottery bowls stacked up. Let's see, a tree that I have some. This is actually another technique. It's called scumbling, where you just kind of do a bunch of little lines, or sometimes people will do little like kind of circle scribbles to give kind of like a grass and leafy texture here. And into the tree, I have some hatching as well to get some shading in there. And another thing that cross-hatching and hatching can be good for is when you're drawing dogs, or I guess not just dogs, I draw dogs, but when you're drawing animals and their fur texture. So I drew this is a picture of Aria. And so you can see that using that hatching technique is really good for getting that fur texture in there. And so if you're into drawing animals, you might end up really liking this, some of these techniques. So please show me what you're drawing. I would love to see it, and have a good weekend.